Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Plus One English YouTube channel, where you can really improve your English naturally and confidently. I'm Aria, and today is day one of our special series, Improve Your English in 15 Days. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our daily English lessons, because we spend a lot of time creating these episodes. And your subscription really means a lot to us. And if you find today's episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which airport situation makes you most nervous. Today we're talking about airports, from check-in to landing. This episode will help you feel confident and prepared for your next flight. Picture this. You're standing in a busy airport and there are long lines everywhere. Announcements in English coming from all directions, and you need to find your gate, but you're not exactly sure where it is. Your heart is beating fast because you don't want to miss your flight and you're worried about communicating with the airport staff. Sound familiar? This is exactly what happens to millions of English learners every day when they travel. Don't worry, because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to say and do at every step of your airport journey, from the moment you walk into the terminal until you're sitting comfortably on your plane. We'll cover the most common situations that happen at airports, and I'll give you the exact phrases that will save you time, reduce your stress, and make your travel experience much smoother. Let's start with the very first thing you need to do when you enter the airport, which is checking in for your flight. When you arrive at the airport, the first thing you need to do is check in for your flight, and if you have luggage to check, you'll need to drop it off at the check-in counter. This is usually a straightforward process, but knowing what the staff will ask you and how to respond will make everything go much faster and smoother. The check-in staff will typically greet you and ask you several standard questions. They might say, "Good morning. Where are you flying today?" And you can simply respond with, "I'm flying to New York," or whatever your destination is. Then they'll ask, "Can I see your passport and ticket, please?" And you should hand them over while saying, "Here you go," or "Sure, here they are." Next, they'll want to know about your luggage, so they might ask, "How many bags are you checking today?" If you have one suitcase to check, you can say, "I have one bag to check." Or if you're only traveling with carry-on luggage, you can say, "Just carry on today. No checked bags." This is important because checking bags usually costs extra money on most airlines. For security reasons, they'll always ask, "Did you pack these bags yourself?" And you should answer, "Yes, I packed them myself," even if someone helped you a little bit. They might also ask, "Do you have any liquids, electronics, or prohibited items in your checked luggage?" And you can respond with, "No, just clothes and personal items." Or if you do have electronics, you can say, "I have a laptop charger in there, but that's it." If you need help finding the right check-in counter, don't hesitate to ask airport staff or other travelers. You can say, "Excuse me, where is the check-in counter for Delta Airlines?" Or, "Is this the right counter for Flight 205 to London?" If you're using a self-check-in machine and you're having trouble, you can ask, "Can you help me with this check-in machine?" And usually there's someone nearby who can assist you. Remember that it's always better to arrive at the airport early, especially for international flights, because this gives you plenty of time to ask questions, deal with any problems, and get through all the airport procedures without feeling rushed or stressed. After you finish checking in, your next step is going through airport security, which can be a bit stressful if you don't know what to expect, but it's actually quite simple once you understand the process. Security is very important for everyone's safety, so the staff take it seriously and you should too. When you approach the security checkpoint, you'll need to have your boarding pass and ID ready because the security officer will check them before you can proceed. Then you'll put your belongings into plastic bins to go through the X-ray machine. And this is where knowing what to do can save you time and avoid confusion. The security staff will give you several instructions, and it's important to listen carefully and follow them exactly. They'll usually say, "Please remove your shoes, belt, and jacket and put them in the bin." So you should take these items off and place them in one of the plastic containers. They'll also tell you, "Put your electronics in a separate bin," which means your laptop, tablet, and phone should go in their own container, not mixed with your other belongings. When it's your turn to walk through the metal detector or body scanner, they'll say, "Step through the scanner." And if it's the newer type of scanner, they might also say, "Raise your arms above your head and stand still until I tell you to move." Don't worry if this feels strange at first. Everyone has to do the same thing. Sometimes you might have questions about what you need to remove, and it's perfectly okay to ask. You can say, "Do I need to remove my shoes?" Because some airports don't require you to take off certain types of shoes. If you're wearing a belt with very little metal, you might ask, "Can I keep my belt on?" And they'll let you know. If you're not sure where to put your laptop, you can ask, "Where should I put my laptop?" And they'll show you the right bin. If there's any problem with your belongings or if the scanner detects something unusual, don't panic because this happens to many people and it's usually not serious. You might need to say, "I have a medical device," if you have a pacemaker or other medical equipment, or "This is prescription medicine," if you're carrying medications. If they need to check something more carefully, you can say, "Can you please check this manually?" And they'll do a hand search instead of using the machines. The most important thing to remember about airport security is to stay calm, be patient, follow all the instructions exactly as they're given, and never make jokes about bombs, weapons, or anything related to security because this is taken very seriously and can get you into serious trouble. Once you've successfully passed through security, you're now in the departure area, and your next mission is finding your departure gate, which can sometimes feel like a treasure hunt, especially in large airports where there might be multiple terminals and hundreds of gates. The good news is that airports are designed to help you find your way, and there are always people around who can give you directions if you get lost. The first thing you should do is look at your boarding pass to see your gate number, and then look around for the departure boards or signs that will point you in the right direction. Most airports have clear signs with arrows showing you how to get to different gate areas, but if you're feeling confused or unsure, don't hesitate to ask for help. When you need directions, you can approach any airport employee or even other travelers and say, "Excuse me, where is gate B12?" Or, "How do I get to Terminal 2?" Most people are very helpful and will point you in the right direction. If you're looking for international departures specifically, you can ask, "Is this the way to international departures?" And if you want to make sure you're walking in the correct direction, you can say, "Am I going in the right direction for gate C5?" The people you ask will usually give you clear directions, and you'll hear responses like, "Go straight down this hallway and turn left at the end," or "Take the escalator to the second floor and then follow the signs," or "Follow the signs for Terminal B and it will take you right there." Sometimes the gate might be quite far away, so they might also tell you, "It's about a 10-minute walk from here," so make sure you have enough time. When you finally arrive at your gate area, you'll see rows of seats where passengers wait for their flights, and this is where you'll spend some time before boarding begins. If you're not sure you're at the right place, you can ask other passengers. Is this the line for Flight 205 to London? Or you can check with the gate agent by asking, what time do we start boarding? If you want to sit down and all the seats look occupied, you can politely ask, is this seat taken? And usually people will let you know if someone is already sitting there. While you're waiting at the gate, you'll hear various announcements over the loudspeaker. And these are important to listen to because they'll give you information about your flight. You might hear, Flight 205 to London is now boarding. Please have your boarding pass and ID ready. Or sometimes there might be delays and you'll hear, we're sorry for the delay. Flight 205 will now depart 30 minutes later than scheduled. The gate agents will also make announcements like, please have your boarding pass ready for scanning when it's time to get on the plane. Finally, it's time to board your airplane, and this is where you'll interact with flight attendants and other passengers. So knowing the right phrases will help you have a comfortable flight and make a good impression on the people around you. Getting on the plane and finding your seat should be straightforward, but sometimes there can be small problems that you'll need to handle politely and confidently. When you first get on the plane, you'll need to find your seat. And sometimes you might discover that someone is already sitting in what you think is your seat. This happens quite often, and it's usually just a simple mistake. So you can politely say, excuse me, I think this is my seat, while showing your boarding pass. And most of the time, the person will realize their error and move to their correct seat. If you're having trouble finding your seat number, you can ask a flight attendant, could you help me find seat 23A? And they'll be happy to show you exactly where it is. Once you found your seat, you'll probably want to put your carry-on bag in the overhead compartment, and if the compartment above your seat is full, you can ask other passengers, is it okay if I put my bag up here? While pointing to a different overhead bin. Most people are understanding about this because everyone has the same problem with limited storage space. During the flight, you'll probably need to communicate with the flight attendants for various reasons, and they're trained to be helpful and friendly to all passengers. If you're thirsty, you can say, could I have some water, please? And if you're curious about the flight progress, you can ask, when will we land? If you're not feeling well, which sometimes happens during flights, you can say, I'm feeling a bit sick. Do you have anything for that? And they usually have medicine or other remedies available. If you have special dietary needs, you can ask, is there a vegetarian meal available? Although it's better to request special meals when you book your ticket. If you're feeling cold during the flight, you can say, could I have a blanket? And most airlines provide them for free, especially on longer flights. Being considerate to other passengers is also very important for a pleasant flight experience. If you want to adjust the window shade, you can ask the person next to you, would you mind if I close the window? Because the light might be bothering them too. When you need to get up to use the bathroom and someone is sitting in the aisle seat, you can say, sorry, could I get past you? And they'll move to let you through. It's also nice to say thank you for moving your bag when someone makes space for your belongings. Sometimes flights experience turbulence or other problems, and if you're worried or confused about what's happening, you can ask the flight attendants, is everything okay? Or, when will we land? If your flight is delayed and you're not sure about the new arrival time, you can ask, how much longer is the delay? And they'll give you the most current information they have. Now let me share some common problems that travelers face at airports and exactly what you can say to solve them quickly and effectively. These situations happen to many people, so don't feel embarrassed if you encounter any of these issues. The airport staff deal with them every day and they know how to help you. One of the most common problems is flight delays, which happen for many reasons like bad weather, technical problems, or air traffic control issues. When your flight is delayed, you can go to the gate counter and ask, "Excuse me, when is the new departure time?" Or if you have a connecting flight that you're worried about missing, you can say, "Will I miss my connecting flight? Can you help me reschedule it?" The staff can usually help you figure out alternative arrangements or at least give you accurate information about your options. Another frequent problem is getting lost in the airport and not being able to find your gate, especially in very large airports where you might need to take trains or buses between terminals. If you're wandering around feeling confused, don't waste time being lost. Just ask someone for help by saying, "I'm looking for gate D15, can you help me?" Or, "Where can I find the departure board?" Most airports also have information desks where staff members are specifically there to help travelers with directions and questions. Sometimes your luggage might be overweight when you try to check it, and this can be stressful because you might have to pay extra fees or reorganize your belongings. If this happens, you can ask, "Can I take something out of my suitcase to make it lighter?" And usually they'll let you remove some items and put them in your carry-on bag instead. You can also ask, "How much is the extra baggage fee?" To understand your options, and sometimes paying the fee is easier than trying to rearrange everything. Occasionally, you might miss an important announcement because airports can be very noisy, and sometimes the sound system isn't very clear, especially if English isn't your first language. If you see other passengers reacting to an announcement but you didn't understand what was said, you can ask someone nearby. "Sorry, I didn't hear the announcement clearly. What did they say about Flight 302?" Most people are happy to help by repeating the information they heard. Before you go, please hit that like button if this episode helped you feel more confident about airport travel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we have 14 more amazing episodes coming your way, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Tell me what's the most stressful or confusing part of airport travel for you. Is it the security check? Finding your gate? Talking to flight attendants? Or something else entirely? I really enjoy reading your comments and learning about your experiences because it helps me create even better content for future episodes. Thanks so much for listening to Plus One English, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of our 15-day English improvement series. Keep practicing these phrases, stay confident, and remember that every single day you're getting better and better at English, even if you don't always feel like it.